3.
We're out here today in Pittsburgh community, of which I'm so proud to be in. And we actually took an old school that was Parks Middle School, and actually through Atlanta Public School System and Atlanta Tech, we now have our first official Atlanta Career Academy. And this academy is a preparation for college and careers. So with this school that's been converted for high school kids into an academy from 10th through 12th grade, if you decide that you want to prep for college, or if you decide that you are now job ready, you want to be job ready and you want to go out and get a job, you can actually come here to this school. It's a beautiful collaboration, and they have so many programs, EMT programs, so many programs, culinary art, food, carpentry, HVAC, dental, hygienes, also personal care. When I finished high school, I knew that I didn't have money to go off to college. But what I liked that Booker T. Washington in the 70s had me job ready. So from the time I finished high school at Booker T. Washington, my counselors and folks at the school said, Joyce, if you're not going to college, we're going to have you job ready. That's what this academy is now doing. It's making kids who may not go to college. Everybody may not be college material. But if we can, in the high school, capture those folks and make sure that they're ready, job ready when they finish high school, that's what this program does. I want to thank Isha Collins and the Atlanta Board of Education for actually having a vision to do this. I'm happy to be here today.
One, two, three. Yay! We are rolling out a citywide initiative. It's about recycling. We are at Community Grounds Coffee Shop, and that is appropriate because today is about paper cups going into your recycling bin. So everyone that has a blue bin in the city of Atlanta can now, when they come home with their coffee cup from Starbucks or Community Grounds, they can put their coffee cups in, they rinse them out, of course, and then they can put them in their recycle bin. So they will not go into the trash anymore. So what we're doing is we are taking things out of the green bin and putting more things into the recycling bin. So the city of Atlanta already takes a whole lot of things in the blue bin, but today is the kickoff of accepting paper cups. So it's exciting. Yes, it's very exciting.
You just want to brush away the substrate around the trunk like this.
I am so happy to be here in historic Collier Heights, partnering with Trees Atlanta and Berean Seventh-day Adventist. We are here planting trees, celebrating Plant Atlanta. We will be planting over 100 trees, and some of the trees even have edible fruit. So we're excited to have all of the volunteers right here in historic Collier Heights. We want to be thankful because trees protect our environment, and we're just here to have a wonderful, wonderful time.
Well, this is it. This is the day. We have now officially opened the Beltline on the south side of the district, in my district in particular. I am so happy. We now have this great Beltline south side in District 12. You see all the folks out here celebrating with my community, my residents. People are biking. I've actually already been on the trail many times walking, but today it is actually officially open. So now it's going to be beautiful. We're actually working on a lot of other things to add to that, including what you see behind us, which is the Annie Casey Foundation, Pittsburgh Yards. I don't know if people don't know about Pittsburgh Yard, they need to come and check it out. It's at 352 University Avenue. This building that's in the back that we see is called the NIA building, which actually NIA means purpose, which is a Kwanzaa principle. And so this building was built through the community and Annie Casey to make sure that we have entrepreneurship, an incubator for folks who are struggling, who have a business but can't do what the typical business would do in terms of funding. So you have all these artists in here, food vendors, all kind of things we're doing in terms of business. I am so excited again that the Beltline, that we're actually pulling things together in such a positive way on the south side of Atlanta, and that we're bringing in equity to the community. The purpose of this is not to take anybody out, but to make sure that folks who live in our community stay. So if y'all haven't been to the south side, come out and actually walk, bike, ride on the south side trail of the Beltline.
One, two, three.
We're here for the launch finally of the beginning of the complete street for improvements along DeKalb Avenue. This project is very, very important. It falls into the category of promises made being promises kept. There's been a lot of charrettes and community engagement around improvements to this district. It's been fits and starts around implementation and scope. We finally have a scope. We finally have allocation of funding. They've selected the contractor. We are finally getting started. This is an important corridor that connects DeKalb County to Atlanta. It connects to Stone Mountain and some other bikes and trails. So this is a very, very important corridor. This is phase one. We're looking forward to having phase two happen in the near future, but we're excited to finally have a start to a very important project.
Even though it's overcast, this is an incredibly exciting day. DeKalb Ave has been a dangerous street on the east side of Atlanta for a long, long time. And I am super excited that we're breaking ground on phase one today, making this safer for the neighborhoods that touch it on both sides, for folks who ride MARTA or who cycle down on their way to or from downtown. But I want to underscore that this is just phase one, that there is unfinished work that we have here, and it'll be important to pass a new T-SPLOS and a new infrastructure bond next spring so we can do the full project and give our residents what they deserve. It's all part of the larger, honestly, the Vision Zero of making sure that no Atlanta resident is injured or dies on our streets. And today's groundbreaking is a step in making sure that that doesn't happen again on DeKalb Ave.
This is an exciting day to be able to come out here for this groundbreaking where we are breaking ground on the DeKalb Avenue safety improvements. This project has been in the making for quite a while, and I'm glad that the community gave their input in the beginning for us to even come to this place to get this project started. And then throughout the process, they have always advocated and been very patient. But now today, we're ready to get started on this project, and how exciting it's going to be to have people that motorists that are on this road, cyclists, wheelchairs, pedestrians will be much safer on a better road that services everyone. This project specifically is about safety. A number of the projects are about creating beautification, making sure the roads are smooth. All that's important, but specifically this project is because we had this reversible lane that has been there for so long that individuals have sometimes had head-on collisions because they didn't know if it was supposed to be going east or west at this time of day. And so it's caused crashes that we can avoid by now having this to be a proper shared lane. And so then we also are going to have protected bicycle lanes ways that wheelchairs, bicycles, scooters, and others can utilize to stay out of the road. So this is about safety, getting people where they're going each day and where they're going in life in a safe way is going to be critical, whether they're riding MARTA or whether they're just taking a trip.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Felicia Moore, your Atlanta City Council President. I'm welcoming everyone in the public as well as members to today's full council meeting for Monday, October 18th, 2021. Before we get started, I just want to let members know that we are working on technical issues to make sure everyone is able to log into the system. I am also having those same issues, so as soon as we can, we're working on getting that resolved. So again, I'll start over one more time just to make sure we're all together here and say good afternoon. I'm Felicia Moore, your Atlanta City Council President, and welcome to today's full council meeting for Monday, October 18th, 2021. Mr. Hunt, can you have a roll call, please?
President Felicia A. Moore.
Present.
Council members, Post 1 at Large, Michael Julian Bond. Post 2 at Large, Matt Westmoreland. Here. Post 3 at Large, Andre Dickens. Council District 1, Carla Smith.
Here.
Council District 2, Amir Faroki.
Here.
Council District 3, Antonio Brown. Council District 4, Cleta Winslow. Council District 5, Natalie Mosby Archibong.
Here.
Council District 6, Jennifer N. Ide.
Here.
Council District 7, Howard Shook.
Aye.
Council District 8, J.P. Matsakite.
Here.
Council District 9, Dustin Hillis.
Here.
Council District 10, Andrea L. Boone.
Present.
Council District 11, Marcy Collier Overstreet.
Present.
Council District 12, Joyce M. Shepherd.
Present.
Quorum present.
We have a quorum present. Mr. Brown did inform me that he will be running late to the meeting today. He's having a procedure done, so we'll expect him to join us later. Did Mr. Bond or Mr. Dickens join us? That's roll call.
Dickens is here.
Okay. And Winslow is here. Yeah, we got you earlier, Miss Winslow.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Bond. Okay, we will proceed. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. We will have a couple of notes of record for the adoption of the agenda. One, we will have a committee of the whole for the Committee on Council, which will be held during the Standing Committee report. We also have a public hearing scheduled that was scheduled at 1 p.m. that will be held during the Standing Committee for Finance Executive Committee for our General Obligation Bond. And we will go into the Committee of the Whole for that as well. As a matter of fact, since we're going in the Committee of the Whole for Committee on Council, let's consolidate both of those Committee of the Wholes, and then we can take the paper up during the Finance meeting. We also have an executive session that is requested by the Law Department. We will do that after our standing committees and before items for immediate consideration and referral. So please be alert. We will have that executive session. My general remarks today is just to, again, welcome everybody to today's meeting. Remind everyone that early voting is underway through October 29th. The last day to request an absentee ballot is October the 22nd. Election day is November the 2nd. Also, congratulations to Providence Missionary Baptist Church on its 150th anniversary. And I want to give a Go Braves shout out to our Atlanta Braves. So go Braves. We now go to our moment of silence. Of course, everyone, I'm sure, was shocked by the news that we lost a great leader, Colin Powell, military leader and first Black U.S. Secretary of State, has passed away from complications from COVID-19. Our thoughts and prayers are most certainly with his family, his friends, those who work with him, and our nation. We also pray for all families as we continue to work our way through this pandemic. And I would just use this as an opportunity to encourage all of us not to get lax and make sure that we are social distancing, wearing our mask, and more importantly, getting our vaccine or vaccine boosters at this point. Are there any council members who wish to add to our moment of silence?
Madam
if you
President.
could, go ahead. Yes, Mr. Bond.
Thank you. Not to add another person, but just wanted to speak on behalf of passing of Colin Powell. A great tragedy, really, for our nation. I remember meeting the general when he was the head of FORSCOM here at Fort McPherson. When in a career of first, he was the first African-American commander of that facility in the early 80s, the 1980s, when he was stationed here. He was an exemplary Secretary of State. Obviously, he was a leader amongst leaders, a friend of my family, and we are so sorry and devastated by his loss.
Anyone else?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
Go ahead, Mr. Shuck.
Well, and I'm sorry to hear about General Powell. My wife and a previous wife worked for Pitney Bowes and had Fort Mac as a client. And when she went in to renew contracts and all that, it was General Powell who dealt with her personally. And boy, she always used to talk about what a just polite, gentleman that he was, and a little bit behind the scenes there. We all probably know him kind of from other more public venues, but I'm just, that's a big loss for the nation. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, before we enter into a moment of silence and remembering Colin Powell and all those that we may not have mentioned today who have lost their life, I gave you the agenda, which was with the public hearing and the Committee on Council and Committee of the Whole, as well as the executive session. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved, Madam Secretary.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Masakai, second by Bond to adopt the agenda as stated. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing no objection, on unanimous consent of members present, the agenda is adopted, Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent of members present is 14 yeas, 0 nays.
Mr. Bond is marked present.
Yes.
Right, thank you. All right, so now let us enter into a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate that moment of silence. And now we will go to the next item on our agenda, which is an invocation. We have Pastor Josh Miles, Associate Pastor of Peachtree United Methodist Church, to give our invocation. Are you on the line, Pastor Miles? If someone can check and see if Pastor Miles is on the line. And if so, make sure he is unmuted. Are you there, Pastor Miles?
Yes, I'm here. My turn?
Okay, I can hear you. Yes, it's your turn. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Josh Miles, one of the ministers on staff at Peachtree Road United Methodist Church. Hear now this word from Isaiah chapter 40. Have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint and strengthens the powerless. Even youths will faint and be weary, and the young will fall exhausted. But those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading and hearing of God's word. And now let us pray. Lord, we pray today for this, our city council, for the men and women who have dedicated their lives and their time and their energy, God, for the betterment of Atlanta, and all who reside in this place as neighbor, visitor, and guest. This is a noble and high calling to serve in this way. But God, you already know that. For you are a God of ages past, but still our present hope today. So just as you have done in the past, God, we ask now that you would do it again. God, what you did for Abraham and Sarah, we ask that you would do it again. Let our work be multiplied. God, what you did for Moses, we ask that you would do it again. Lord, protect us and help us with what we need to do and what we need to say. God, what you did for the Israelites in the wilderness, we ask that you would do it again. Lord, give us a pillar of fire to guide us through the night and a cloud to cover us from the scorching heat of day. And help us to then bring Atlanta to a place of ripe fruit and human flourishing. Help us to rise up yet again, O Lord, to renew the strength of this city council. Work in and through each of them for the right actions and decisions to be made in your name. Help them to mount up with wings like eagles, God. And right now we boldly ask that you would send a fresh anointing of your Holy Spirit upon them each, that they may soar in the grace and truth and justice of your holy name. Bless the fullness of their gathering today, and guide our work to be pleasing in your sight. For you, O God, are worthy of all the glory, all the praise, and all the gratitude, both now and forevermore. Amen.
Amen, and thank you so very much for that. Thank you. Mr. Melton, yes, I saw you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to thank Pastor Miles, who's new to our city, new to Atlanta, and he is Councilmember Westmoreland and myself. He's our minister at Peachtree Road, and we want to welcome him to Atlanta. Lord knows we need more people praying for us on city council and in this city. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. God bless you.
God bless you, and thank you for joining us today. All right, members, we will now enter into the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now move on to our remarks by the public. As we are skipping our special section for recognition, I'm sorry I was on mute. Mr. Clerk, if you can go to the remarks by the public, and someone can let everyone know how long it will be. Thank you.
We have approximately 5 minutes and 45 seconds for public comments. The public may leave a comment of their concerns the day before the scheduled meeting between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. by dialing 404-330-6001. Public comments for the full council agenda shall not exceed 2 minutes. In addition, the Committee on Council will enter the Committee of the Whole, and the public may express their concerns for the individual committee by dialing 404-330-6069. Mr. Massenberg.
Even though I take faith of Christ, my name is Andre Jordan. If you live after the flesh, you shall die. But if you eat through the Spirit, the wonderful that is of the body, you shall live. Romans 8, chapter 13, verse. Here it denotes separation from the sinful deeds of the flesh. Saying in Montgomery, the word said, if you live after the flesh, ye shall die. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. Proverbs 12, chapter 22nd verse. To be able to enter in through the gate in the city is to have heavenly citizenship in the eternal dwelling place of God and redeems mankind. No man who has lighted a candle covers it with a vessel, or put it under a bed, but set it on a candlestick, that they which enter in may see the light. Luke 8, chapter 16, verse. Ye are the light of the world, describes the essential mission of the Christian to the world. If you hide what Jesus has done in me and give not the glory, then you work against the operation of the gift. For they got not the land in possession by their own sword, neither did their own arm save them, but thy right hand and thine arm and the light of thy countenance, because thou hast a favor unto them. Psalms 42nd chapter 33rd verse. redeemed. Don't reject Jesus' ransom plan for you. To praise and appreciate what Jesus has done through righteous deeds will bless you, not evil deeds. We live to give Christ the glory, not our flesh. Good afternoon, City Council. I just want to address some issues that I could see Reed when he was the mayor. In the past, that I know that we didn't have no money to stay in 2005. We was broke. And I think the public, they forget about things like former government produced those. Well, Mr. Pulpit. And continuing made a statement that Felicia Moore voted 51% property tax. But she couldn't pass it. But that means other members have to vote on it also. That's what I want you need to clear that up. And when Mayor Franklin left, she didn't have the surplus. He was too busy throwing money up in the air, celebrating through the Christmas party. So why we want someone to come back to be a mayor that our tax dollars, that he didn't think nothing about it, he didn't care, that having a Christmas party. So why we want someone like that back in office? And I have the 51% of property tax. Who else also voted on that tax bill? Because she couldn't. If we pull the roster, we can find out who else voted. So I'm confused because I know that you got to make tough decisions because back in 2000, we didn't have, the state didn't have no money because we were broke. And sometimes you got to make hard decisions, and that takes a leader. And a lot of these policemen, the fire department, they didn't get along with Kasim Reed. He fired the chief. And then also, how about we closed ties and people died, homeless people died?
Greetings, council members and staff. A special greetings to you citizens and voters of Atlanta monitoring our government in action. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. Truth, transparency, and vision fell out of the window at last week's meeting of the City Utilities Committee. Members of the public who are waiting to hear the latest in the People TV saga only heard the People TV update will be presented at a later date. So later, for any update on how the studio rent will be paid and how the SBA loan will be repaid. And later, for any update on the claim of that People TV employee who complains he was terminated improperly by the general manager. Later, also for an update on the open records request that was made of the general manager on September 15th and promised to be honored on October 10th, and which still has been honored as of today, despite being escalated to several city administrative officials. And later, for any chance of reviving the People TV programs, NPU on TV and APAP Roundup, so those People TV programs could help expose why fewer than 20 out of the 20,000 NPUR residents and stakeholders vote at the NPUR meetings controlled by Vice Chair Anthony Rupp and the NPUR 9 syndicate and supporters.
All right, I think that ends our public comment. And I'd like to thank the members of the public, as always, for participating and making your voices heard at City Hall. Now, Mr. Clerk, I would like for us to move to the report of the journal.
I, Forrest Webb III, Municipal Clerk, do certify that the action minutes of the October 4th, 2021 City Council meeting are true and correct.
I'll entertain a motion to accept and file the report of the journal.
So moved, Matt Kite.
Is there a second? I need a second.
Second, Smith.
Thank you. Motion by Massacite, second by Smith, to accept and file the report of the journal. Is there any discussion? Are there any objections? Hearing no objections, on unanimous consent of members present, Mr. Clerk, we will accept and file the report of the journal.
Unanimous consent of members present is 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays is accepted and filed. Now we will move on to communications, Mr. Clerk.
Madam President, we have 20 items. If I can found item 1 through 7 as a block to start.
Proceed.
21-C-0132, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, appointing Mr. Alan Ferguson to serve as a member of the Housing Commission. This appointment is for a term of 3 years. 21-C-0133, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, appointing Ms. Amber Robinson to serve as a member of the Municipal Market Company Board of Directors. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. 21-C-0134, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, reappointing Mr. Daniel Halpern to serve as the Airport West Community Improvement District. This appointment is for a term of 4 years to begin retroactively on January 20th, 2019 and expire January 19th, 2023. 21-C-0135, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, reappointing Mr. Michael Green to serve as a member of the Atlanta Fulton Recreation Authority on behalf of the City of Atlanta. This appointment is for a term of 4 years to begin retroactively on January 22nd, 2021 and expire January 21st, 2025. 21-C-0136, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, appointing Ms. Kelly Terrell to serve as a member of the City of Atlanta Fulton County Recreation Authority on behalf of the City of Atlanta. This appointment is for a term of 4 years. 21-C-0137, a communication from Monique Prather, Secretary of Zion City Civic Association, submitting the appointment of Mr. Solomon Brannon to serve as a member of the Rodney Cook Senior Park Historic Oversight Committee. 21-C-0318, a communication from Monique Prather, Secretary of the Zion City Civic Association, submitting the appointment of Mr. Stephen Muhammad to serve as a member of the Rodney Cook Senior Park Historic Oversight Committee. Staff recommendation to refer to Community Development Human Services Committee and Committee on Council.
Recommendation is to refer, and we will let it follow that course.
21-C-0139, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, appointing Ms. Priscilla Carter to serve as a member of the License Review Board. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. Staff recommendation to refer to Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee and Committee on Council.
Let it follow that course.
Madam President, if I could sound items 9 and 10 as a block.
Proceed.
21-C-0140, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, reappointing Ms. Kenyatta Mitchell to serve as a member of the Keep Atlanta Beautiful Commission. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. 21-C-0141, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, reappointing Ms. Yvonne Douglas to serve as a member of the Keep Atlanta Beautiful Commission. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. Staff recommendation to refer to City Utilities Committee and Committee on Council.
Let it follow that course.
21-C-0142, a communication from Danielle Hampton, Chair Audit Committee, submitting the Performance Audit Report, Parks and Recreation Fees. Staff recommendation to refer to Community Development and Human Services Committee.
Let it follow that course.
And Madam President, if I could sound items 12 through 20 as a block.
Proceed.
21-C-0143, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, reappointing Jan Bryson to serve as a member of the Judicial Commission. This appointment is for a term of 4 years. 21-C-0144, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, reappointing Mr. Lawrence Ash to serve as a member of the Piedmont Park Conservancy. This appointment is for a term of 1 year. 21-C-0145, the communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, reappointing Ms. Farrah Cook to serve as a member of the Piedmont Park Conservancy. This appointment is for a term of 1 year. 21-C-0146, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, reappointing Ms. Allegra Lawrence Hardy to serve as a member of the Piedmont Park Conservancy. This appointment is for a term of 1 year. 21-C-0147, a communication from Chief Procurement Officer Mark Clark, submitting the September 27th, 2021 through October 1st, 2021 weekly contracts report. 21-C-0148, submitting the October 4th, 2021 through October 8th, 2021 weekly contracts report to the Atlanta City Council and Clerk of Council pursuant to Section 2-1142 of the Atlanta City Code of Ordinances. 21-C-0149, a communication from Danielle Hampton, Chair Audit Committee, submitting the City Auditor's Office Fiscal Year 2022 audit schedule. 21-C-0150, a communication from Danielle Hampton, Chair Audit Committee, submitting the Performance Audit Report, NEST, Cybersecurity. And the last item, 21-C-0151, a communication from Municipal Clerk Forrest Webb III, submitting a report of an administrative correction made previously between the regular council meeting dates of October 4th, 2021 and October 18th, 2021 to the Atlanta City Council in accordance with Section 2-169 of the Atlanta City Code of Ordinances regarding item 21-0-0678. Staff recommendation to accept and file all items.
Staff recommendation is to accept and file. I'll entertain a motion.
Some of the Matsakite. Second.
Motion by Matsakite, second by Bond to accept and file. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, on unanimous consent of members present, it is accepted and filed, Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent of members present is 14 yeas, 0 nays.
It is accepted and filed. Thank you. We'll now move to our next item on the agenda, which is consideration of vetoed legislation.
There are no items, Madam President.
All right, now to unfinished business.
There are no items to report, Madam President.
All right, we now at Consent Agenda Section 1. Consent Agenda Section 1 are made up of those items that have gone through our standing committees and have received unanimous recommendation for approval. Are there any items that the members would like to remove from Consent Agenda Section 1? Please indicate using your speaker button, please. If you're not on system and you would like to remove an item, please speak up. Seeing no speakers indicated, nor anyone speaking up, we will move to adopt Consent Agenda Section 1, Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent of members present is 14 yeas, 0 nays.
I wanted to open the vote.
I'm not certain if we can at the moment. Please hold.
You can. Okay. We'll hold for the vote. Thank you.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Shepherd, yes. Winslow, Winslow. Hold on, everyone. Miss Walden, if you can close it out so I can see who has not voted. Okay, Mr. Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Faroki, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Boone, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Westmoreland, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Brown, can you join me? Please mute your phone. Mr. Shook, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Winslow? In favor. Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. Archibald?
Yes.
And Mr. Hiller?
Aye.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. Consent agenda section 1 is adopted. It is adopted, and we will now move to consent agenda section 2. Consent agenda section 2, I can't talk today. Consent agenda section 2 are items that are here for first read at our full council meeting, and I will refer them as indicated in the agenda to the standing committees. Now we come to the report of the standing committees, and our first standing committee is the Committee on Council. However, we do have an item for public hearing for finance. So when we go into committee of the whole, if our finance chair could be available, I understand there's a substitute, and then we'll do the public hearing and the vote, and then we will move from there. So can I have a motion to go into the committee of the whole for the purpose of hearing from Committee on Council and the public hearing item from Finance Executive Committee?
So moved, Matskai.
Second.
Motion by Masakai, second by Bond to enter into the Committee of the Whole. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing no objection, on unanimous consent of members present, we will enter into the Committee of the Whole, Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent is 14 yeas, 0 nays, Madam President.
Thank you. Let's start with Committee on Council. Mr. Masakai.
Thank you, Madam President. The first item on the agenda for the Committee on Council today is the public comment. I believe we have one caller. If you could please play that comment.
Greetings, members and staff of the Committee on Council, and special greetings to you citizens and voters of Atlanta who are listening to our public officials and to comments by the public. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. The council member from District 11 recently proclaimed she was, quote, working with NPUR, unquote. The council member from District 12 makes a similar claim about working with NPUR as she perennially assigns and reassigns Ricardo Jacobs to Fort McPherson outreach responsibilities. Ethically speaking, working with Antonita Robinson is not the same as working with the senior citizens along the Capitol Cascade corridor. Working with Corliss Clare is not the same as working with all of the 640 homeowners of Adams Park, and not just those homeowners whom Corky chooses to involve in the Adams Park Residents Association. Working with Ricardo Jacobs is not the same as working with the men and women of the Campbellton Road Merchant and Business Association. Working with Renette L. Scott is not the same as working with the representatives of the many churches within Neighborhood Planning Unit R. Long story short, ethically speaking, working with the 40,000 residents and stakeholders of Neighborhood Planning Unit R is not the same as working with Vice Chair Antonita Robinson, Paulus Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Renette L. Scott, Alfred White, Allison Hathaway, Gerald Brown, Agent X, Jerry Williams, and the NPUR 9 cohort supporters and protectors. Not the same, ethically speaking.
All right, thank you. That concludes our public comment. The next item on the agenda are communications. We have 4 communications today. All of these appeared before the Committee of Purview. The appointees were there and received approval. Without objection, I'd like to take all 4 as a block.
Second.
All right, I'll proceed that way. Thank you. The first is 21C0125, a communication from Debbie Shapensky, President, Atlanta Planning Advisory Board, submitting the appointment of Ms. Carolyn Dingman to serve as a member of the Atlanta Beltline Tax Allocation District Advisory Committee. This appointment is for a term of 2 years and was favorable by the CDHS Committee on the 12th of October. Next item is 21C0126, a communication from Debbie Shapensky, President, Atlanta Planning Advisory Board, submitting the appointment of Mr. James Holmes to serve as a member of the Atlanta Beltline Tax Allocation District Advisory Committee. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. This was favorable by CDHS Committee on the 12th of October. The next item is 21C0127, a communication from Cecilia Houston Torrance, Chair, Atlanta Citizen Review Board, submitting the appointment of Mr. Samuel Lee Reed II to serve as a member of the Public Safety Commission. This was favorable by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee on the 11th of October. And finally, 21C0128, communication from Nina Hickson, Atlanta City Attorney, appointing Ms. Karen Edwards to serve as a member of the Public Safety Commission. And this was favorable to the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee on the 11th of October. I would like to make a motion to confirm.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Bond, motion by Massacite. Any discussion? All right. Is there any objection? Hearing none on unanimous consent of members present, it is confirmed. Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent is 14 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, 14 yeas, 0 nays. We have one item that is on held that needs to come off today. This is item 21-0640. This was substituted at the October 4th full council meeting and is on the held agenda. Would you like me to read that in, Madam President?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. It's a substitute ordinance by Committee on Council to amend City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, Section 66-2, precinct boundary lines and polling places by amending the 2017 Precincts and Polling Places Ordinance in Fulton County Precincts 2A1, 2F1, 2F2, 2L2, 2W, 3I, 3F, 6D, 62, 6E, 6L1, 6L2, 7A, 7D, 8B, 8C, 8H, H, 8J, 10D, 10D1, 10P, and 12A due to the decrease of voters assigned at the polling place facilities, polling sites no longer available, safety concerns at the city facility, and change of address at the polling facility. The motion is to adopt on substitute.
Motions to adopt on substitute. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Motion by Massacre, second by Bond. Any objection? Hearing none. Yes? Okay. Hearing none on unanimous consent of members present, it is adopted. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you.
Unanimous consent is 14 yeas, 0 nays, Madam President.
Thank you. All
14
right.
yeas, 0 nays. Thank you, Madam President. That concludes the business of Committee on Council.
Thank you. Let's go to Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have one item for which we need to conduct a public hearing. It is item number 1 on page 37, which is 21-00751. So I will make a motion to enter into our public hearing on this item. I'll read the caption for you first. An ordinance by Councilmember Joyce M. Shepherd as substituted by Finance Executive Committee providing for the issuance of not to exceed $4 million in aggregate principal amount of City of Atlanta general obligation bonds for various purposes pursuant to and in accordance with an amendment to the Constitution of the State of Georgia ratified at the general election held on November 5th, 1968, and proclaimed by the Governor of the State of Georgia on December 13th, 1968, 1968 Georgia laws, 1586, 1587 inclusive, and continued by 1986 Georgia laws 4824 to 4825 inclusive. So I'll make a motion to enter into the public hearing.
Motion to enter into the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by who? Who is the second? Okay, second by Massacre. Motion by I to enter into public hearing. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none on unanimous consent, we are in the public hearing, Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent of members present is 14 yeas, 0 nays.
We published the line to make public comment. I do not believe that any public comment was received. And right. there will be a substitute on this when we get to committee. But I believe committee is the appropriate place to bring forward the substitute.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to exit the public hearing?
So moved.
Second, Matt.
All right. And there's a second by Massacre, motion by I to exit the public hearing. Any discussion? Any objection? We have now exited the public hearing for the GO bond issuance held under Finance Executive. That item will be taken up during the Finance Executive Committee report. All right, now I'll entertain a motion to exit the Committee of the Whole.
So moved, Matskai.
Second.
Motion by Massacre, second by Bond to exit the Committee of the Whole. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, on unanimous consent of members present, we will exit Committee of the Whole.
Unanimous consent is 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. We have exited Committee of the Whole, and now I'll entertain a motion to adopt in gross all actions taken in the Committee of the Whole.
So moved, Matskai.
Second.
Motion by Massacre, second by Bond, to adopt in gross all actions taken into the Committee of the Whole. Let's open the vote.
Please hold. Please continue to hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Shepherd, how do you vote? Yes.
Mr. Hillis,
Yes.
Mr. Shook,
Aye.
Ms. Archibald,
Yes.
Ms. Winslow,
In favor.
Mr. Faroki,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Westmoreland.
Yes.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. Populating votes. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. All actions taken in the committee of the whole have been adopted in gross. Now we will move on to our next standing committee, which is, one second. Make sure I get my list up here. Hold on one second. What are the journal communications? Hold on one second. I have too many things open. All right. So we did Committee on Council, and now we will go to Zoning Committee, the Honorable Amir Faroki, Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. This is the Zoning Committee report. Today has 6 items, which can be taken as a block. They're all items for first read. So if you want to read along, you can do so on page 29 of the agenda. Item number 1, 21-00782, zoning case number Z2186, 1114 Westshire Place and 0 Westshire Place. The ordinance is to rezone from RG3, Residential General Sector 3, to MR4A, Multifamily Residential. Item number 2, 21-00783, zoning case number Z2189. The location is 534 Springside Drive. The ordinance is to rezone from R4, Single Family Residential, to RG2, Residential General Sector 2. Item number 3, 21-00784, zoning case number Z2191. Location is 480 17th Street. The ordinance is to rezone from MRC 3C, Mixed Residential Commercial Conditional, to MRC 3C, Mixed Residential Commercial Conditional, for a change in conditions to allow a major site plan amendment. Item number 4, 21-00785, zoning case number Z2192, 681 Whitehall Street. The ordinance is to rezone from I2, Heavy Industrial, to MRC3, Mixed Residential Commercial. Item number 5, 21-00786, zoning case number Z2193. The location is 1411 South Gordon Street. The ordinance is to rezone from R4, Single Family Residential, to NC15, Westview Neighborhood Commercial District. And finally, item number 6, 21-00787, zoning case number Z2195. The location is 229 Bicknell Street. The ordinance is to rezone from R4, Single Family Residential, to R4A, Single Family Residential. Again, these are 6 items, and the recommended action is to refer to ZRB and Zoning Committee. So moved.
Motion is to refer to ZRB and Zoning. Let it follow that course. Were those first reads?
That's correct.
Okay, let it follow that course. Thank you.
And that's the entirety of the Zoning Committee's report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We now move to Transportation Committee, the Honorable Andre Dickens, Chair.
Yes, we have just 2 items on page 33. Item number 1, 21R4071, an agreement for passenger wait time reporting system. This was favorable with 6 yeas and 1 nay. and I'll read it. A resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute a renewal agreement for FC 9767 passenger wait time reporting system with Zovis USA, Inc. at Hartfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport for a term of 2 years in an amount not to exceed $390,604. All services will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Again, it's favorable, 6 yeas, 1 nay, and the recommendation is to adopt.
Motion to adopt. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on the motion to adopt.
Please hold. Please continue to hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
All right, if you can close out the vote so I can see who has not voted. Mr. Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Hiroki?
Yes.
Boone? Boone?
Yes.
Westmoreland?
Yes.
Please mute your phone. Silk?
Aye.
Winslow? Winslow? Shepherd?
Yes.
Archibald?
Yes.
Hillis?
Yes.
One more time, Miss Winslow. All votes are cast in the affirmative. Miss Winslow
In favor. In favor.
Okay. All right. All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is adopted. Mr. Chair.
All right, the next item is item number 2, 21R4072, Special Procurement Agreement of Transportation Network Company Tracking and Compliance Services. A resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to exercise the first renewal option with American Association for Airport Executives for number listed Transportation Network Company Tracking and Compliance Services at Hartfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport in an amount not to exceed $240,000 to be paid from the account numbers all listed, and all contract work will be charged to and paid from fund department organization account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. This was favorable with 6 yeas, 1 nay, and I make a motion to adopt.
Motions to adopt. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open. We don't need a second, but any objection or discussion? If not, let's open the vote, Mr. Clerk.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
If you can close down the vote so I can see who has not voted, please. Mr. Hillis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Archibald?
Yes.
Shepherd?
Yes.
Winslow?
In favor.
Shook?
Aye.
Westmoreland?
In favor.
Boone?
Yes.
Hiroki?
Yes.
And Bond.
Aye.
All votes cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Mr. Chair.
All right, that concludes the report of the Transportation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now we go to Finance Executive Committee. The Honorable Jennifer I. Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to start with the item that we had the public hearing on, which is 21-0751. I'll go ahead and read the caption again. An ordinance by Councilmember Joyce M. Shepherd is substituted by Finance Executive Committee providing for the issuance of not to exceed $4 million in aggregate principal amount of City of Atlanta general obligation bonds for various purposes pursuant to and in accordance with an amendment to the Constitution of the State of Georgia ratified at the general election held on November 5th, 1968 and proclaimed by the Governor of the State of Georgia on December 13th, 1968. 1968 laws 1586 to 1587 inclusive and continued by 1986 Georgia laws 4824 to 4825 inclusive. There is a substitute that I need to bring forward that was distributed to council members earlier today, and the substitute in section 1 changes a little bit of language and changes the maximum principal amount maturing each year from $400,000 to $500,000. So I'll make a motion to bring forward the substitute.
Second.
Who was that, Miss? Who was that second?
Shook.
Okay, second by Fifth, motion by I to bring forth the substitute. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the, hearing none on unanimous consent if there's no objection. I don't hear any objection. So on unanimous consent, we will bring the substitute forward, and the substitute is before us, Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent is 14 yeas, 0 nays.
It is before us. Proceed.
All right. This item had been favorable out of committee. I'll make a motion to adopt on substitute.
Motion to adopt on substitute. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will entertain a second.
Sure, Clay Maskite.
Okay, Mr. Massacite, second to adopt on substitute. Motion by I. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Okay, you'll have to close the vote. System has gone down, so I cannot see. Oh, there it is. All right. But I still can't see who voted. So, Mr. Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Hiroki?
Yes.
Westmoreland?
Yes.
Shook?
I thought I was the second, but I'm an aye.
Okay. They had Mr. Massacite as the second. You were second on the bringing it forward. So, Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Archibald?
Yes.
Hillis?
Yes.
All votes are cast in the affirmative, Mr. Clerk.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. $14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Anything else?
Not for me.
All right.
On that item, I do have additional items. So item number 2, item number 2 is 21-0661, an ordinance by council members Andrea L. Ben, Dustin R. Hillis, Michael Julian Bond, Marcy Collier Overstreet, Matt Westmoreland, Cleta Winslow, Carla Smith, Joyce M. Shepherd, and Amir R. Faroki, to amend the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, Part 2, General Ordinance, Chapter 78, Fire Prevention and Protection, Article 2, Department of Fire and Rescue, to create a new Section 78-36 entitled Firefighters Mediation Act, pursuant to OCGA 25-5-1, and to incorporate all the rights and privileges enumerated in OCGA 25-5-1 regarding collective bargaining and the resolution of wages, hours, and working conditions for City of Atlanta firefighters and for other purposes. This was favorable out of Finance Executive Committee with one abstention, so the motion is to adopt.
Motion is to adopt. Any discussion? All right, let's open the vote.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
We can close out the vote so I can see who has not cast a vote. Mr. Hillis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Archibald?
Yes.
Shepherd?
Yes.
Winslow?
In favor.
Sure, Mr. Shook?
Aye.
Westmoreland?
Yes.
Boone?
Yes.
Baroque?
Yes.
Bond?
Aye.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
Thank you. The next item, item number 3, is 21-0758, an ordinance by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the CFO to amend the fiscal year 2022 budget by transferring appropriations from the general fund to the capital finance fund to amend the first renewal option for FC 9334 business license and cashier management system with Tyler Technologies Inc. on behalf of the Department of Finance to purchase 31 additional software licenses in an amount not to exceed blank to be charged to and paid from the following fund: department organization and account numbers, capital finance fund, DOF revenue and collections, reserve conversion account C, treasury, BLS upgrade DOF revenue, BLS upgrade DOF revenue, and for other purposes. And the motion is to file.
Motion is to file. Is there a second? Oh, there is no need for a second. Any discussion? Any objection to the motion to file? Okay, hearing no discussion and no objection on unanimous consent of members present, it will be filed, Mr. Clerk.
Unanimous consent is 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is filed. Madam Chair.
All right. The next item, item number 4 on page 38, is 21-0766, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone is substituted by a Community Development, Human Services, and Finance Executive Committees to ratify Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom's executive order directing the CFO to transfer and allocate up to $3,500,000 in funds from the general fund uncommitted fund balance for the purpose of contributing to the funding efforts of Partners for Home to provide non-congregate shelter and hotel operations, to retain 100 low-barrier shelter bed operations, to maintain a dedicated street outreach team, and to provide rapid rehousing for persons experiencing homelessness, to transfer appropriations from account numbers listed herein to various accounts to provide up to $3,500,000 in funds by transferring general fund uncommitted fund balance to the purpose of contributing to funding efforts of Partners for Home to provide and sustain critical services expected to be exhausted, and to scale the Home First and Lift initiatives, and for other purposes. This was favorable out of Finance Exec with one abstention.
Motion is to adopt. Any discussion? All right, let's open the vote on the motion to adopt.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Please close it out so I can see who has not voted. Mr. Hillis, how do you vote? Please mute your phone.
Aye.
Ms. Archibong?
Yes.
Shepherd?
Yes.
Winslow?
In favor.
Shook?
Aye.
Brown? Sorry, he's absent. I forgot that. Mr. Westmoreland?
Yes.
Baroki?
Yes.
Bond?
Aye.
All votes cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is adopted. Next item.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. We will now go to our next standing committee, City Utilities. The Honorable Madeline Archibong, Chair.
I believe that Councilmember Mazikite will be presenting that report.
Thank you,
thank
Mr.
you.
Mazikite.
Thank you, Madam President. We accomplished all our business in committee. We have no report. Thank you.
Wonderful. We now move to Community Development and Human Services Committee. The Honorable Matt Westmoreland, Chair.
Yes, ma'am. We have one item. It came forward on condition, and it involves a substitute that changes the caption, so I'll make a motion to bring forward the substitute.
Was there a second?
Second, Madam President.
Second by Mazikite. Motion by Westmoreland to bring forth the substitute. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Is there objection? Hearing none on unanimous consent of members present, Mr. Clerk, we will bring the substitute forward.
All right. This is an ordinance by...
Hold on 1 second.
Yep. Go for
it. Unanimous consent is 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is before us. Proceed.
All right. This is an ordinance by Council members Matt Westmoreland, Carla Smith, Joyce M. Shepard, Marcy Collier Overstreet, Jennifer N. Ide, Andrea L. Boone, Michael Julian Bond, Dustin R. Hillis, Andre Dickens, Madeline M. Archibong, Antonio Brown, and Amir R. Faroki, as substituted by the Atlanta City Council. An ordinance amending the FY22 general fund budget in an amount of $2 million by transferring funds to support green space improvements and upgrades in underserved neighborhoods across Atlanta and for other purposes. This item came forward unanimous on condition of providing the funding account numbers, which are included in the substitute, and so I will make a motion to approve.
Motion to adopt. Is there a second?
Second.
Are you making them? Okay. Motion by Westmoreland and second by Bond. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Shepherd, how do you vote?
Yes.
Hillis? Hillis?
Aye.
Shook?
Aye.
Archibong?
Sorry, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Winslow?
In favor.
And Faroki?
Yes.
All votes are cast in the affirmative. And we did
The
give
vote
you
is now-
Ms. Shepherd. I did so.
The vote is now closed. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is adopted.
Thank you very much, Madam President. That concludes our report.
Wonderful. We now move to Public Safety, Legal Administration Committee. The Honorable Joyce Shepard, Chair.
No report, Madam Chair. Madam President, rather, I'm sorry.
All right, no problem. We have completed all of our standing committees. We will now go into an executive session. Members should have been texted the secure line to enter. I would ask if you are on the system when you enter, if you would put on your speaker button so I know who is there. So I'm sure we get everyone before we start. And I will turn it over now to our city attorney for explanation as to why we're going into an executive session. If we can make sure the law department is unmuted. You sound very far away.
Okay, let me see what I can do.
There you go. We hear you now.
All right. The purpose of the executive session is
we cannot hear you again.
The purpose of the, can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, very clear.
The purpose of the executive session is to discuss a matter that's currently in litigation.
All right. Is there a motion to go into an executive session?
So moved, Matthew.
Is there a second? Second by Bond, motion by Masterkite to enter into executive session. Let's open the vote.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Okay, Mr. Westmoreland, how do you vote?
In favor.
Baroki?
Yes.
Boone? Boone? Okay. Shook?
Aye.
Shepard?
Yes.
Archibald?
Yes.
Hillis?
Aye.
All right. Mr. Clerk, all of those are in the affirmative.
And
Winslow,
yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Winslow is an affirmative. All are in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. We will now enter into executive session for members of the public. We will return upon exit after we get out of executive session for a vote. And then we'll have our papers for immediate consideration and referral. If members will now leave this line and go to the secure line, and please indicate if you have your speaker button when you are there. Thank you. We are returning. I would ask members, if you're on the system, just so that I can get an indication of when people are coming back, please hit your speaker button. The clerk will do a roll call before we start for those who are not on the system. I see members are joining. We'll give everyone a few more minutes to get back on. If you are on the system, if you could hit your speaker button so I can see how many other people are here before I call for the roll. And please mute your phone. Please mute your phone. Someone needs to mute their phone. Thank you. Okay, I think we're getting members here. Let me give them a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to ask for the roll call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A few more minutes. Okay, and all right. So let's, Mr. Clerk, if you could do the roll call, please.
President Felicia A. Moore.
Present.
Council members Michael Julian Bond.
Here.
Matt Westmoreland.
Here.
Andre Dickens.
Here.
Carla Smith.
Here.
Amir Faroki.
Here.
Antonio Brown. Cleta Winslow. Madeline Archibald.
Here.
Jennifer Ide.
Here.
Howard Shook.
Aye.
J.P. Massacott.
Here.
Dustin Hillis.
Here.
Andrea Boone.
Present.
Marcy Collier Overstreet.
Present.
Joyce M. Shepard.
Present.
Quorum present.
Ms. Winslow, please unmute your phone. Please mute your phone. Ms. Winslow, have you joined us? Ms. Winslow.
Present.
Thank you. All right. Now I'll
Madam
entertain...
President?
Yes.
I'm fine as well. This is Councilmember Brown. I'm on.
Thank you for joining us. Mr. Brown is present, Mr. Clerk.
Duly noted.
All right, let's entertain a motion to exit executive session.
So moved, Madam Secretary.
Second. Can I get a second?
Second, Brown.
Second by Brown, motion by Massacott to exit executive session. Let's open the vote.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Please close the vote so I can see who has not voted, and if everyone can make sure you mute your phone. Mr. Bond, how do you vote?
Aye.
Faroki?
Yes.
Boone?
Yes.
Westmoreland,
Yes.
Shook,
Aye.
Winslow,
In favor.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Smith. Oh, I'm sorry. We got you, Miss Smith. Miss Archibong?
Yes.
And Mr. Hillis.
Yes.
All votes are cast in the affirmative.
The vote is now closed. Yeas, 0 nays. Apologies. 15 yeas. 15 yeas, 0 nays.
15 yeas, 0 nays. We have exited an executive session. Now we will go to the next item on the agenda, which are items for immediate consideration. Are there items for immediate consideration?
Yes, Council President Moore. This is Councilmember Archibong. I do have a paper for immediate consideration.
Sure, proceed.
Thank you. The ELMS number is 27226. This is a resolution by Councilmember Natalie Archibong authorizing the settlement of all claims against defendants in the case of Ann McKillop, Gary McKillop, and 351 Group LLC on behalf of themselves and other similarly situated persons versus City of Atlanta, Georgia, civil action file number reference in the case of Melissa Stanford on behalf of herself and the class of owners of commercial properties in the City of Atlanta versus City of Atlanta, Georgia, and the civil action number reference, both pending in the Superior Court of Fulton County, Georgia, by executing a claims-made settlement agreement described herein, which shall include the payment of a total of $19 million and 0 cents. Let's see, into an escrow account to fund all timely and valid claims made by plaintiffs and settlement class members, the notice and administrative cost, any class representative incentive awards, and any attorney fees awarded to the plaintiff's counsel, with any other settlement proceeds which remain to revert to the City of Atlanta. Authorizing the settlement proceeds to be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein, authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to distribute the settlement proceeds and for other purposes. Whereas Ann McKillop, Gary McKillop, and 351 Group LLC on behalf of themselves and other similarly situated persons versus City of Atlanta, Georgia, the civil action number reference, is a lawsuit pending in the Superior Court of Fulton County regarding the assessment of frontage-based and multifamily unit-based charges against the condominium and commercial property owners and their properties in the City of Atlanta pursuant to Section 130-84 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances. And whereas Melissa Stanford, on behalf of herself and the class of owners of commercial properties in the City of Atlanta versus City of Atlanta, Georgia, civil action file number reference, a lawsuit pending in the Superior Court, Fulton County, regarding the assessment of frontage fees against private commercial property owners, including various multifamily property types in the City of Atlanta, pursuant to Section 130-84 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances. And whereas the plaintiffs in both the McKillop's lawsuit and the Stanford lawsuit, collectively the lawsuits, seek class certification of equitable remedies and claims for monetary damages related to the assessment of the frontage fees pursuant to City Code Section 130-84, and whereas in full settlement of all claims against the City of Atlanta, plaintiffs have agreed to consent to claims-made settlement of the lawsuits to be materially structured as follows. 1, a total of $19 million and 0 cents shall be paid into an escrow account by the city, which shall fund, among other things, all claims made by plaintiffs and settlement class members. The settlement proceeds shall be inclusive of any payment to the settlement class, attorney fees, class representative incentive awards, and notice and administrative costs. 3, all members of the settlement class shall be required to submit claims forms, the terms and requirements of which remain to be negotiated. A settlement class member that does not submit a timely and valid claim form shall not be entitled to receive any funds from the settlement proceeds. 4, any of the settlement proceeds which remain unclaimed shall revert to the city. And 5, the city shall prepare a recommendation to A, amend Chapter 130, Division 4 of the City Code to amend the disputed fees, and B, adopt a new method of collections for submission to the Atlanta City Council. And whereas the city attorney has done an extensive review of the facts and the law and has determined that the proposed terms of the settlement are in the best interest of the city and recommends that the Atlanta City Council approve the same. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, that the city attorney is authorized to settle and Gary McKillop and 351 Group LLC on behalf of themselves and other similarly situated persons versus City of Atlanta, Georgia, civil action file number 2021-CV-345903, and Melissa Stanford on behalf of herself and the class of owners of commercial properties in the City of Atlanta versus City of Atlanta, Georgia, civil action file number 2019-CV-322978, collectively the lawsuit, pursuant to a claim-made settlement of the lawsuit to be materially structured as follows. 1, a total of $19 million and 0 cents shall be paid into an escrow account by the city, which shall fund, among other things, all timely and valid claims made by plaintiffs and settlement class members. 2, the settlement proceeds shall be inclusive of any payment to the settlement class, attorney's fees, class representative incentive awards, and notice and administrative costs. 3, all members of the settlement class shall be required to submit a claims form, the terms and requirements of which remain to be negotiated. A settlement class member that does not submit a timely and valid claim shall not be entitled to receive any funds from the settlement proceeds. 4, any of these settlement proceeds which remain shall revert to the city. And 5, the city shall prepare a recommendation to amend Chapter 130, Division 4 of the City Code to amend the disputed fees and to adopt a new method of collection for submission to the Atlanta City Council. Be it further resolved that in consideration of the City of Atlanta's consent to the claims-made settlement authorized hereby, plaintiffs will dismiss the lawsuit with prejudice and all claims associated therewith. Be it further resolved that the city attorney is hereby authorized to settle and execute all settlement documents related to the lawsuit and the claims-made settlement authorized hereby. Be it finally resolved that the chief financial officer is authorized to make payment from Fund 1001 General Fund, Center number 200101 non-departmental, account 5212005 litigation expenses, and functional activity number 1512000 accounting. Payment shall be in the form of a check in the amount of $19 million and 0 cents, which, absent a signed writing by all parties to the contrary, shall be provided to the claims administrator, who shall distribute such funds in accordance with the settlement agreement. I have a question for the law department. Is that the entirety of the resolution? I don't know if I'm missing a page. Is anyone on from the law department?
If we can make sure the law department is unmuted so they can answer, so she's sure that she's reading all of the resolutions.
This is Nina Hickson. I'm checking now just to make sure. Yes.
It is. All right. Thank you very much. I make a motion to adopt.
Okay, a motion to adopt by Ms. Archibong. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Bond. Motion by Archibong to adopt. We'll open it for discussion. If you're on the system, please use your speaker button, and then I will go to those who are not on the system.
Sure.
Okay, wait a minute. I don't see anyone on the speaker button, so we will go to off system. And Mr. Phil, go ahead.
Okay. So the 19 would come from where?
The general fund.
Why not solid waste?
As I understand it, the CFO would have to explain that, but as I understand it, there is not enough funding in there to cover it. That's where it should come from, but there's not enough in there to cover it, is what I was told.
Okay, so the fund that provides for streets and sidewalks and police and all that. I think this is enormously huge decision to make. I don't think we should make it on the fly. I don't think it's fair to this body. I don't think it's fair to the public. And so I will make a motion to refer.
Well, there's a substitute motion to refer it to, and I would assume you will be referring it to Public Safety Legal Administration Committee?
That's fine.
Okay. Is there a second to Mr. Shook's substitute to refer it to PSLA?
Second.
Okay, we have a second by Mr. Bond to refer back to committee. Is there any discussion on the motion to refer? Ms. Ide?
Yeah, there's a time sensitiveness on this as far as resolving this dispute. So I, while I'm usually wary of immediate consideration, I think this one makes a whole lot of sense to get it done today. And the second part of setting rates going forward will certainly be open to discussion. But for resolving the litigation, I think it's appropriate today.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Madam President, this is CFO Bala. I'd like to just clarify a point. This is initially being paid from the general fund, but the intent is to enter into an MOU reimbursement from the solid waste fund back to the general fund.
Mr. Bala, is the solid waste fund, were you saying that will be a future action? Because I know solid waste has been in deficit for over a decade.
Correct. That'll be a future action requiring a separate piece of legislation to assign the debt to the solid waste fund so that we can structure a path forward from solid waste back to the general fund. And as Chairwoman I mentioned, this is time sensitive, and we can certainly have the discussions with the rate setting structure for solid waste and path forward into making sure that the general fund is reimbursed for these costs.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the motion to refer?
This is Archibong. I wanted to concur with the comments that we've just heard, and especially from my colleague, Ms. Ide. The parties to this litigation and their attorneys are in a posture of resolving their issues by virtue of a negotiated settlement. I think that's always better than the risk of having this be heard and have something more egregious. It's always better to have the parties themselves settle a matter. Unless we're going to join in and be co-counsels on this, I think we need to respect the litigation and the attorneys that have been working on the city's behalf. And so given the time sensitivity, given what is at risk, given the fact that the parties to this action are in agreement with this path forward, And finally, the fact that, as Ms. Ide properly said, any changes to the rates will be vetted in a very public square scenario where there would be lots of public comment and full vetting. I just believe that it is more prudent in our capacity fiduciaries of the city to move forward at this time. Thank you.
Anyone else on the motion to refer to Public Safety Legal Administration Committee? Speak now if you would like to speak. Hearing no one, let's open the vote on the motion, the substitute motion to refer to Public Safety Legal Administration Committee.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Quick question for clarity. Is this, as I'm looking at it on the screen, this is Councilman Dickens, is this for the referral or is this for the settlement?
The motion is on the floor that we're voting on now is Mr. Shook's substitute motion to refer this paper to Public Safety Legal Administration Committee. So it should read a motion. We're voting on the motion to refer. I'll ask everyone to please mute your phones. Please mute your phones. If we can close out the vote so I can see who needs to vote. Mr. Hillis, how do you vote?
Nay.
Ms. Archibald?
No.
Ms. Shepherd?
No.
Winslow?
No.
Brown?
No.
Westmoreland?
No.
Boone?
Nay.
Baroki?
No.
All votes are cast. All votes are nay.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. Populating votes. Populating votes.
What's going on with this? We've been
please mute your phone, Ms. Shepherd. Ms. Shepherd, please mute your phone. Public, we're waiting on one vote to be populated. Ms. Boone's vote.
Populating votes.
We're ready, Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, we're ready.
That's 1 yay, 14 nays.
1 yay, 14 nays.
Madam President,
yes.
I was the seconder of the motion, and I should be a nay. I mean, a yay to refer.
All right, that's what I thought. He is a yay. Let's change that right now, please. Mr. Bond is a yes. Mr. Clark?
Duly noted.
Okay, let's get it on the screen, please.
2 yays, 13 nays.
Okay, for the public, we've switched the screen back and forth. If you would hold on, you will see that this is the final vote. 13 nays and 2 yays. The motion to refer back to the Public Safety Legal Administration Committee fails. All right. Now we're back to the motion to adopt. Any further discussion on the motion to adopt? You're on the speaker button. You can hit that. If not, please just speak up on the motion to adopt. Okay, hearing no one, let's open the vote on the motion to adopt.
Please hold. Please continue to hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Shepherd, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Boone?
Yes.
Gillis?
Yes.
Shook?
Nay, thank you.
You said nay? Okay.
Correct.
Winslow?
In favor.
Brown?
In favor.
Baroque?
Yes.
Westmoreland?
Yes.
All votes are cast with Mr. Shook being nay.
The vote is now closed.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Someone is in the waiting room. Let me see who that is. Mr. Dickens needs to be let in. Continue, Mr. Clark.
I'm in now. Dickens is in.
All right, thank you.
Populating votes. 14 yeas, 1 nay.
14 yeas, 1 nay. It is adopted. Any other items for immediate consideration? All right. Let's go to our papers to be referred. We will go in this order. So please listen, so you will be ready. Ready. Okay, we're going to go Smith, Shook, Shepherd, Matsakite, Hyde, Hillis, Baroque, Brown, Boone, Archibald, and if anyone else that I didn't call, you will be after that, which I think Ms. Winslow, you will be last. So let's start with Ms. Smith.
Okay. I am pulling it up right now. Okay. Let's go with Elms 27203. Resolution.
Give me 2 seconds. Let me find it because I've got 3 different sheets. Okay, I have it. Go ahead.
A resolution by Councilmember Carla Smith authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute an agreement with the State of Georgia Department of Human Services, Division of Family and Children Services, on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for the purpose of accepting and applying federal funds to water and sewer accounts to assist low-income households eligible for the Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program. All funds received will be deposited into and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account number listed and for other purposes.
City Utilities Committee 27203.
Okay. Elms number 27220. An ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith authorizing the transfer of $50,000.00 from the Council District 1 carry forward account to the Council District 1 salaries part-time account and for other purposes.
27220 to Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you. Elms number 27209. an ordinance by Council Member Carla Smith to ratify Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms' executive order directing the Chief Financial Officer and the Commissioner of the Department of Human Resources to extend the implementation of the city's employee vaccination incentive program ratified by Ordinance 21-0-0709, pursuant to which city employees receiving their initial COVID-19 vaccines between September 15th and December 31st, 2021 shall be eligible to receive a one-time $100 incentive payment, and directing the Chief Financial Officer and the Commissioner of the Department of Human Resources to expand the City of Atlanta's employee vaccination incentive program such that persons receiving a COVID-19 booster following the date of this order through December 31st, 2021, shall also be eligible to receive a one-time $100 incentive payment and for other purposes.
27209 to Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you. Elms number 27208, an ordinance by Council Member, or do you need to find it?
I've got it.
Okay, thanks. An ordinance by Council Member Carla Smith authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the Atlanta Workforce Development Agency, also known as WorkSource Atlanta, to accept a Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act dislocated worker program grant in the amount of $266,876.00 from the Technical College System of Georgia, Office of Workforce Development, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY21 Job Training Grant Fund budget by adding to anticipation and appropriations in the amount of $266,876.00 and for other purposes.
27208 to CDHS.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. And we now go to Mr. Shook.
Thank you. This is Elms 27221, an ordinance by Shook, authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the city of Atlanta to enter into an encroachment agreement with the Peachtree Park Civic Association for the installation of a historical marker at the Burke Road entrance to the Peachtree Park community to waive the code requirements as indicated and for other purposes.
27221 to Transportation. 27221 to Transportation. Everyone else, please check your phones and make sure they are on mute until it's your turn.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Shepherd.
Thank you. Elms number 27213, a resolution by Councilmember George Shepherd, Antonio Brown, Dustin Hillis, Carl Smith, Matt Westmoreland, Cleta Winslow, Andrea Boone, Jennifer Ide, Amir Faroki, Marcy Collier Overstreet, Natalie Archibong, Andre Dickens, and Michael Julian Bond, authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding on behalf of the City of Atlanta, the Fulton County, Georgia, the Fulton County DeKalb Hospital Authority, DBA Grady Memorial Hospital, and the Police Alternative and Diversion Initiative Incorporated, by which the parties will agree to create and establish the Center for Diversion and Services for a term of 1 year, which shall be renewable annually upon Atlanta City Council approval, to aid the parties' desire to transition away from legal system responses that utilizes jails or arrests for concerns related to homelessness, mental health, substance use, and poverty, and for other purposes.
27213, the Public Safety Legal Administration Committee.
Thank you. I have two more. An ordinance by Councilmember George Shepherd, Elms number 27201. An ordinance to waive Chapter 2, Article 9, Division 1, Section 2-910 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinance
to ratify the City of Atlanta's grant application with the Georgia Power Foundation for a Georgia Power Governmental Unit grant to support the capital costs associated with creation and establishment of a Center for Diversion and Services, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to accept the award of a grant funding and to amend the fiscal year 2022 budget in the amount of $100,000.00 to anticipate and appropriate grant funds from Georgia Power, to authorize the mayor or her designee to enter into any required agreements necessary for the implementation of this award and for other purposes.
27201, the Finance Executive Committee.
One more. An ordinance by Councilmember Joy Shepherd, Elms number 27212, authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the fiscal year 2022 budget by transferring appropriations for various funds from the Department of Aviation, Watershed Management, and Public Works to the Department of Finance in a total amount not to exceed $948,793.60 for the Oracle, HCM, ERP, EPM, and PAAS software support and maintenance with Mystics Incorporated on behalf of the Department of Finance and for other purposes.
27212, the Finance Executive Committee. And I have you have your name for another one, Ms. Shepherd, 27200.
I think that may be a duplication of one I've already done, but I'll check on it and come back to you. I think that's a duplication.
Yes, it looks like a duplication. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll now go to Mr. Matsakite.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have three papers. The first is Elms 27225, 27225, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the 2021 Park Impact Fee Fund budget in an amount not to exceed $4,500,000.00 from the Department of Parks and Recreation Impact Fund North to match a donation of $4,500,000.00 from the Northside Youth Organization for the Chastain Park Gym Renovation and Expansion Project. Funds shall be subject to and contingent upon the collections and availability of future Parks North impact fees and operation of the fiscal year 2022 and 2023 budgets and for other purposes.
Okay, 27225 to CDHS Committee.
The next is Elms 27223, 27223, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing the transfer of $5,000.00 from the Council District 8 carry forward account to the Council District 8 Consulting Professional Services account and for other purposes.
27223 to Finance Executive Committee.
And the third and final paper I don't have an Elms number for. I can go ahead and read that in. Sure. It's an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Matsakite authorizing the mayor or her designee to install traffic calming devices, speed tables, on Edinburgh Road Northwest between Mornington Drive Northwest and Castlewood Drive Northwest to waive certain provisions of Section 138-84D of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
Okay, that will go to Transportation Committee, and they will assign it an Elms number. And Mr. Westmoreland says that he got knocked off and is in the waiting room, so please add him to the meeting. We will move on to Ms. Ives. All right, I have two items. The first one is Elms 27215. An ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer N. I to amend Ordinance 21-0-1-0186 to authorize the city on behalf of the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs to accept the donation of an artwork installation by Atlanta artist Chris Condon titled Canis Rufus, the Artwork Installation, which has been commissioned by Andrew Filer and Laura Adams and is valued at $17,500 to be installed on certain city property known as the Parklet
located where Greenwood Avenue intersects with the Beltline's East Side Trail and for other purposes.
27215 to Finance Executive Committee.
And the next one is ELMS 27220, a resolution by Councilmember Jennifer Ann Ide authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to refund customers for overpayments to water and sewer accounts in an amount of blank. All funds to be charged to and paid from Fund Department Organization and account number 5051, Water and Wastewater Revenue Fund 000001, balance sheet default 1226009, refund payable and for other purposes.
27220 to Finance Executive Committee.
That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Hillis.
Yes, I have two papers. First is ELMS 27217, an ordinance by Councilmember Dustin Hillis authorizing the transfer of $5,000.00 from the Council District 9 carry forward account to the Council District 9 distribution account to continue serving the Atlanta community for the public good and for other purposes.
27217 to Finance Executive Committee.
Second and last is ELMS 27224, an ordinance by Councilmember Dustin Hillis to establish the Disabled, Elderly, and Veteran Diversion Program for the purpose of ensuring that eligible participants may bring their property into compliance with Part 3 Code of Ordinances, Land Development Code, Appendix E of the City of Atlanta, to deposit all fees collected from the Disabled, Elderly, and Veteran Diversion Program into the general fund of the city pursuant to Section 62-46, free trial diversion fee of the City Code of Ordinances, and for other purposes.
27224, the Public Safety Legal Administration Committee.
Thank you. That is all.
Mr. Faroki.
Thank you, Madam President. I have two papers. One, ELMS number 27216, an ordinance by Councilmember Amir Faroki authorizing the mayor or her designee to make the intersection of Angier Avenue Northeast and Arnold Street Northeast an all-way stop-controlled intersection, to authorize the Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for other purposes.
27216 to Transportation Committee.
And ELMS number 27210, an ordinance by Council Members Amir Faroki and Andre Dickens authorizing the mayor or her designee to create the City of Atlanta's Guaranteed Income Pilot Program as part of the National Mayor's Guaranteed Income Program to provide eligible low and moderate income individuals with a monthly stipend of $500.00 per month for up to 12 months to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the National Mayors for Guaranteed Income, authorizing the solicitation and selection of a program administrator, authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to appropriate $2 million from the Economic Development Trust account to the account set forth therein and for other purposes.
27209 to, 27210 to CDHS and Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right. The next person is Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam President. ELMS number 27227, the ordinance of the Obama, Andrea L. Boone, Michael Julian Bond to amend Chapter 10, Article 2, Section 1092B of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, so as by the exemption from the district of stores licensed to sell malt beverages and or wine by the package listed in Section 10-881 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances for one package store located at 901 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia 30314, and for other purposes. Madam President?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was muted. Can you give me the number again?
Sure. It's ID number 27227.
27227 to Public Safety Legal Administration Committee.
ELMS number 214, ordinance by Councilmember Antonio Brown to waive the provisions of Part 3 Code of Ordinances, Land Development Code, Part 16, Chapter 29, Section 16-9, support housing of the city for the purposes of waiving the distance requirement for development located at 1200 Mobile Street, Northwest Atlanta, 30314, and for other purposes.
Okay, that is 27214 to Zoning and Community Development Human Services Committee.
that concludes my legislation, Madam President.
Thank you. Ms. Boone.
Yes, Madam President. First item, a resolution by Council members Andrea Boone, Matt Westmoreland.
Could you give me the number so I can find it while you're reading it?
I'm searching for that also. I should have that shortly.
Okay, go ahead.
A resolution by Council members Andrea Boone, Matt Westmoreland, Councilmember Andre Dickens, Councilmember Amir Faroki, Councilmember Marcy Overstreet, Councilmember Michael Julian Bond, and Councilmember Cleta Winslow. A resolution requesting the Atlanta Airline Terminal Corporation to provide a minimum wage salary of $15 per hour to all airport cleaners and other contract employees at Hartfield Jackson International Airport and for other purposes. Did I say Councilmember Matt Westmoreland?
Yes, you did.
And he is a sponsor on
okay,
that.
And that's for people who clean the airport. I think that is 27219. That goes to Transportation Committee.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Next item, a resolution by Councilmember Andrea Boone, Elms number 27206. A resolution authorizing the mayor on behalf of the Atlanta Workforce Development Agency, WorkSource Atlanta, to amend FC-9895, One Stop Career Center Operator, within the Door LLC to reduce Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act grant funding allocations from FY20 dislocated worker, FY20 adults, and FY19 youth, and have all services to be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein and for other purposes.
27206 to CDHS.
An ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone, Elms number 27205. An ordinance to correct substitute ordinance number 210330, adopted the City Council on June 21st, 2021, and approved for City Charter Section 2-403 on June 30th, 2021, to authorize Amendment number 3-FC-8100B with Willis Insurance Services of Georgia for the purpose of correcting the contracting vending name therein and for other purposes.
Okay, 27205, the Finance Executive Committee.
An ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone, Elms number 27199. An ordinance authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into Amendment number 202 to contract effectively immediately upon execution with American King Joint Venture, JV, for FC-10383, pools and splash pads management and maintenance on behalf of the Department of Parks and Recreation, to extend the term of the agreement on a month-to-month basis for a period beginning December 18th, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, and to add funding to the agreement in an amount not to exceed $900,000 on behalf of the Department of Parks and Recreation in accordance with Section 2-61163, Article Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta, Code of Ordinances. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from accounts listed and for other purposes.
Okay, 27199 to CDHS and Finance Executive Committee.
Last item, Elms number 27207. 27207. An ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone, an ordinance authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the Atlanta Workforce Development Agency, also known as WorkSource Atlanta, to accept a Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act adult program grant in the amount of $138,462.00 from the Technical College System of Georgia Office of Workforce Development, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2020 Job Training Grant Fund budget by adding to anticipations and appropriations in an amount of $138,462.00 and for other purposes.
Okay, that was, I just lost it. Okay, what was the number again?
27207.
Okay, 27207, the CDHS.
That concludes my legislative items, Madam. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Archibald.
All right, just a second. Let me pull it up. All right, ELMS number 27198, an ordinance by Councilmember Madeline Archibald to extend the moratorium on the acceptance of any application for the special administrative permit or building permit for which a special administrative permit has not been applied for, including land disturbance permit for any property located within an R5 zoning district within the Atlanta and DeKalb neighborhood of Edgewood, issued pursuant to Ordinance 21-0-0203 for a period not to exceed 60 days, subject to the adoption of Ordinance 21-0-0580 to rezone certain properties from the R5 zoning district to the R5C zoning district and for other purposes.
27198 to Zoning Committee.
All right, the next one is ELMS 27192, an ordinance by Councilmember Madeline Archibald authorizing the mayor or her designee to install traffic calming devices on Benson Street Southeast between Jose L. Williams Drive Northeast and Meridian Street Southeast, to waive certain provisions of Section 138-84D of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
27192 to Transportation.
Okay. Next, 27194 is the ELMS number, an ordinance by Councilmember Madeline Archibald authorizing the mayor or her designee to make the intersection of Pearl Street Southeast and Kirkwood Avenue Southeast an all-way stop-controlled intersection, to authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for other purposes.
27194 to Transportation.
Thank you. ELMS number 27193, an ordinance by Councilmember Madeline Archibald authorizing the mayor or her designee to install traffic calming devices on Spencer Avenue Northeast between Jose L. Williams Drive Northeast and Far Road Northeast, to waive certain provisions of Section 138-84D of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
27193 to Transportation.
All right, and ELMS number 27195, an ordinance by Councilmember Madeline Archibald authorizing the mayor or her designee to make the intersection of Hardy Street Southeast and Renwood Place Southeast an always stop control intersection, to authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for other purposes.
27195, the Transportation Committee.
I just want to also say that there was a request to move the settlement paper that was read in for immediate consideration, to move that to the mayor's desk. I've been in communication with our municipal clerk, Forrest Webb, and he is in the process of getting that done, so we don't actually have to do a post haste, but the legislation is being sent to the mayor's office immediately.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dickens.
All right, yes, I have two papers. One is ELMS 27204, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Article X, Division 9 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to continue the City of Atlanta Small Business Opportunity Program, the SBO program, to amend Chapter 2, Article X, Division 12 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to continue the City of Atlanta's Equal Business Opportunity Program, the EBO program, to acknowledge and incorporate the disparity study performed by Keen Independent Research, LLC, to amend the sunset provisions of the SBO and EBO programs and for other purposes.
All right, that is 27204, the Finance Executive Committee.
All right, and the next one is ELMS 27211, an ordinance by Andre Dickens and Andrea Boone authorizing the mayor or her designee to establish a child savings account program for the benefit of for low-income children in kindergarten within the city of Atlanta, and create a citywide plan to inspire college attendance, to create a public-private partnership through the solicitation and selection of a program administrator and the financial institution, and to execute agreements with applicable parties to create, fund, develop, implement, and manage the Child Savings Account program, authorizing the city of Atlanta to provide initial contributions of money into the child savings accounts as seed money for college savings, authorizing the chief financial officer to appropriate $2 million from the Economic Development Trust account to the account set forth herein and for other purposes.
Okay, 27211, the CDHS and Finance Executive Committee.
Okay, those are my two papers. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Winslow.
Yes. Okay, this is an ordinance by Councilmember Cleta Winslow, Joy Shepard, Carla Smith, Andrea Boone, and Marcy Overstreet. And this is Elms number 27202. An ordinance to ratify Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom's executive order directing the chief financial officer to allocate $33,500,000, which is the present value of the remaining community benefits fund, to be distributed to the city of Atlanta pursuant to the Gulch development agreement between the city of Atlanta, the downtown development authority of the city of Atlanta, and Spring Street Atlanta LLC to support affordable housing, economic development, and workforce development, authorizing the chief financial officer to create an affordable housing trust fund account for the purpose of receiving and dispersing funds to support affordable housing initiatives, authorizing the chief financial officer to create an economic development trust fund account for the purpose of receiving and dispersing funds to support economic development initiatives, authorizing the chief financial officers to create the workforce development trust fund for the purpose of receiving and dispersing funds to support workforce development initiatives, authorizing the chief financial officer to anticipate and appropriate a total of $33,500,000 from the Gulch closing to the Affordable Housing Trust account, the Economic Development Trust account, and the Workforce Development Trust account, indicating herein and for other purposes.
27202.
27202.
Yes, ma'am. To CDHS and Finance Executive.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. You're welcome. Any other personal papers to be referred? I think I called all the names I saw. All right? Ms. Hyde?
Yes, I had two finance papers that the CFO has asked that we send post haste, so I wanted to make a motion to do that. It is 210748. which was on the consent agenda, and 21-0751, which was on my report.
Okay.
Second, Matsky.
Second by Matsky. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, on unanimous consent of members present, those two items will be sent to the mayor's office post haste. All right, Ms. Clerk.
Unanimous consent is 15 yeas, 0 nays of members present.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any general remarks for the good of the order? Okay. Hearing no.
Madam President, two things. One is on this Wednesday, Councilmember Bond and I will be doing a Hello Fresh event, and that's the 20th of October at West Hunter Street Baptist Church, starting at 3 p.m. So that will be fresh produce that will be given out, and the address is 1040 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, Southwest. And we will also be hosting a job fair on next Thursday, October 28th, at the same location at West Hunter Street Baptist Church, starting at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's on the 28th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., again at 1040 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, Southwest. A job fair. There'll be Amazon there. There'll be some city departments there, along with CSX Railroad, Grady Hospital, and several other food distribution companies. Thank you.
Oh, well, I got to add this. I just got notes. Happy birthday to you tomorrow, Miss Joyce Shepard. See, I even sang for you. Happy birthday, Joyce.
Oh, happy birthday, Councilmember Shepard.
Yeah, happy birthday, Joyce.
Thank y'all.
Happy birthday.
How old are you?
I'm not going to tell.
You're
Yes,
a smart lady.
Forever
29.
I like that.
Any other announcement? Yes, you're welcome. Happy birthday. Any other announcement? Well, we are ending on a good note wishing our colleague, Ms. Joyce Shepard, a happy birthday tomorrow. Mr. Clerk, can we have the adjourning roll call, please?
Yes, Madam President. Before the adjourning roll call, can I make an announcement regarding absentee ballots?
Please do.
Absentee ballots must be requested of the Office of Registration in the Elections for the county in which you live in, be it DeKalb County for the Atlanta citizens that live in DeKalb, and Fulton County for those citizens that live in Fulton County. Those absentee ballot requests must also be returned to the Registration and Elections Office for Fulton and DeKalb counties. That information is located on the City of Atlanta's website, as well as Fulton County's website, as well as DeKalb County's website and the Secretary of State's website. The reason I make this announcement is because the absentee ballot itself does not have a return address on it per House Bill 202, Senate Bill 202. And subsequently, the instructions on the last page that indicates that if it's a state election, you return it to the appropriate authorities at the state, and if it's a county election, you return it to the county in which you're registered. And then it also indicated for municipalities, for municipal elections, you would return that to the municipality. Unknown to a lot of citizens in the City of Atlanta, the City of Atlanta contracts with Fulton County and DeKalb County to conduct our election. And subsequently, all election day matters are under their purview. So again, you would return your absentee ballot to Fulton County or DeKalb County Office of Registration and Elections pursuant to 21-2-381A1A. Thank you, Madam President. Today's council meeting was held in accordance with OCGA 50-14-1. The adjourning roll call. Council President Felicia A. Moore.
Present.
Council members Michael Julian Bond.
Here.
Matt Westmoreland. Andre Dickens.
Here.
Carla Smith.
Here.
Amir Faroki.
Here.
Antonio Brown.
Here.
Cleta Winslow.
Present.
Madeline Archibald.
Here.
Jennifer Ide.
Here.
Howard Shook. J.P. Maxigite.
Here.
Dustin Hillis.
Here.
Andrea Boone.
Present.
Marcy Cauley Overstreet.
Present.
Joyce M. Shepard.
Present.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to Mr. Shook is here. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Who was the motioner?
That's
And a second by Bond. Any discussion or objection? We hereby stand adjourned on unanimous consent, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good